I, 33 male, think that my wife, Jamie, 35 female, cheated on me. I have no concrete evidence of it, but something happened that I'd be foolish to ignore. I've given it so much thought, and I can't come to any other conclusion besides the fact that she might have cheated on me and come to lie to me about what happened. Jamie told me that she wanted to go and see an old friend from college who was in another town about an hour away. She has told me about this friend before, so I didn't have any doubts about that she was actually going to see her. We have what I consider to be a healthy marriage, so my first instinct, when she first tells me that she wants to go and see someone, isn't going to be to assume she's lying. She told me that when she got to the other town, and when she stopped responding as much as before, I just assumed it was because she was engaged with her friend. If you haven't seen each other in ages, there will be so much to talk about. You won't be typing away at your smartphone in such circumstances. Well, I didn't receive another message from her until she came back home the next day. According to her, her phone had died, so she had no way to book a ride back home, and she just decided to wait until the next morning before returning. She came super early, around 5 a.m., and she claimed that was because she wanted to make sure that I didn't worry too much. My first instinct was concern, and I showed her that. I asked if she was alright, and she said she was, but it only took a few seconds of thought for me to question her. Why couldn't she get a charger at her friend's place? Why didn't she message me on a social media platform with her friend's phone? Her friend could have taken her to a bus stop, and the moment she was back in our city, she would have known how to get back home, even without a phone. According to her, her friend uses an older iPhone, so she only has lightning cables at home. She didn't think of the social media approach, and she decided not to risk returning via public transportation since it was late and she didn't want to risk it. Even though she didn't seem to be lying, at least from how much I knew about her, I didn't like the vibe I got from the whole situation. She claimed that she was panicking and she couldn't remember my phone number either, which didn't make any sense to me. I'm supposed to be a sort of emergency contact for her, and she was at a friend's house, not in a war zone. It made no sense to claim she couldn't remember my number in that one low-pressure moment. Besides that day, we haven't spoken about things at length, but the longer I hold the events in that day in, the more I believe that something happened, and she's just lying to my face. There were so many ways she could have just let me know that she wouldn't be returning that night. I ended up being worried sick. I struggled to sleep, and I ended up having to go to work that day, which was rough for me. I feel like if I was in that same position, it would have gone very differently. The moment I found out I wouldn't be able to return home, I'd ask a stranger for their phone to call her. I'd ask a stranger to send her a message on Instagram or Facebook. I would make my way back home to town on the power of my credit card and cash alone. I'd figure something out. Even if I had to stay back, she would know that. I didn't know that because she was up to something. That's my belief, and I really don't think I can sway my mind from it. I've tried because I don't like having suspicions or feeling insecure. But this time around, I know it's not insecurity. Something happened. Besides that day, I haven't seen any other signs from her that would make me feel like something is going on with her. It's why I'm not just jumping to the conclusion that she's cheating. She seems so regular. Her mood is fine, and she seems as open as she always has been with me. I just want to trust my gut on this one, though, and my gut is saying that something happened. If I can confirm that her smartphone was indeed on in the hours that she claimed it was dead, I'll treat that as proof. But besides that, I might not be able to find any other evidence that she was cheating on me. I'll do what I can, but let me know, guys. What do you think? Am I overthinking the situation? Am I giving her too much credit for assuming she should have known the alternative ways to reach out to me? I really don't know anymore. I can't even think straight on this matter any longer. Update 1. Sequel to my last post. I've done some digging and I found out that truly my wife, Jamie, has been cheating on me. To say that I'm devastated won't get my true emotions across accurately. We've been married for 6 years. We have a 2-year-old. Despite all the love that we're meant to have for each other, she found it so easy to not just cheat on me, but lie to me too. A big, sustained lie. This is not a person that I can ever choose to trust again because it is clear how easily she can find herself swayed by her self-interest. I wish that I weren't sharing a child with this woman because I now find myself wondering how far she can go for her selfish needs and whether our child is safe from that. I had to check her phone to figure things out, and I did that when she was sleeping because I know how heavy she sleeps once I start to hear light snoring. The first thing that I did was to go to her messages and start looking through the people she talks with the most. I wanted to see just one message that was sent during the hours that she claimed her phone was dead. That would be all I needed to know that she had been lying to me. I wasn't even looking for an affair partner at that point. I just wanted to have actual proof that she was cheating, since I had already started to feel like I was the crazy one. I found it. I found a message from her to her best friend. Her friend didn't seem to know what she was up to because the messages were casual and they were sent a little after 8 p.m. on the day in question. I hadn't gotten a response from her since 1 p.m. that same day. If her claim was that her phone died, it should have been dead by that point, since she was meant to be back home before 8 p.m., on her way back, if I want to give her some leeway. I checked, and I had sent a message around 7:30 asking her if she was okay. I got ignored though. A friend didn't. My chat is pinned, so there's no way to claim that it was buried among other messages. It sincerely made no sense to me. I screenshotted her message with her friend as proof that I had caught her in a lie. I hadn't picked up her phone with the intention to find her affair partner, but I knew that I was going to have to do my best to find the exact person, since that would give a lot more weight to my claim. Me knowing that she lied to me is good enough for me to end our marriage, but I don't want to have only half knowledge. I want to be able to point at her, look her in the eye, and say that I know exactly what she did and who it was with. Because of that, I started to go through the messages she had with male friends in her messages app. Most of them were fine, as it should be when you're married. However, when I saw, "You haven't come in yet, babe. You good?" my alarm bells went off. I saw that it was with her coworker, Connor, who I knew a lot about. I've seen him a few times, but I won't necessarily say that we're acquainted. He knows who I am and I know who he is. That's about it. When I read through their messages, that's when it became very clear that things were inappropriate between the two of them. At first, I thought it was possible that one of the silly work husband, work wife situations. If it was that was enough for us to have a very serious discussion, but maybe not divorce. But I didn't need to do any deliberating because after reading on, it became clear that they were more than just two coworkers playing silly games. From their messages, I was able to tell that the two of them had no issue talking with each other intimately. And when I kept going, I found parts of their conversation that confirmed that they had slept with one another. Her talking about his dick and him talking about her body. The moment I saw that, I felt crushed. I almost woke her up right there. I was so disoriented by what I had read, I managed to keep my cool and document all the most important parts of their messages with each other. I even checked to see if they shared messages with each other on that day that her phone was supposedly dead. They didn't, but they chatted in the morning and the day after, when she got back home. While it might have seemed to a fool that it supported her claim that her phone was off, it only tells me that she didn't need to text him during those hours because she was with him. Now, I know that my wife is a cheating witch, and it hurts. She's been acting so normal around me. With the expectation of the day in question, she's been herself. Why can she do something so egregious and still act normal? It shows me how little regret there is. I'm sure this isn't her first time with Connor either. They've gone on work trips together in the past. I had no worries before, but now that I know this, I realize how much they must have been sleeping with each other before I even got a sniff of what was happening. I'm going to confront her, and I'm not going to be kind when I do. The first thing is to sort out the divorce, though. Once I have a lawyer ready to go, I'm going to make her spit out the truth, and then I'm going to end things. We have a kid, but I'm sorry that he's going to have to take the collateral emotional damage. I simply can't stick around with Jamie just because of him. It's not going to be healthy, even if I did. Update 2. I have confronted Jamie, and it was as messy as I thought it was going to be. I had so much anger that I had bottled up, so much frustration and confusion. I finally had the chance and the right to throw it all on her, so I did that. When we put our child to bed, I walked up to her in the kitchen where she was eating a fruit and watching TikTok. I took her phone out of her hand, locked it, and then asked her why she was cheating on me with Connor. Despite how well she had hidden things up until then, her face showed her guilt. The fact that she didn't immediately challenge also showed her guilt, but she still tried to cover herself up. She asked me why I thought that she was cheating on me with Connor. She said it was ridiculous. I told her that I was going to go berserk on her if she continued to lie to me. I yelled at her that I knew that the whole thing with her phone dying had been a lie. I was worried that my wife had suddenly just gone off the grid, but meanwhile, she was out there sleeping with her coworker. I was worried sick while she was having the time of her life. We were married, and we had a kid, but she still couldn't stop herself from being a slut. She looked like she wanted to say something in response to that, but I shut her up. She then decided to claim that it wasn't what it looked like, which made me super angry. There was a little saucer on the kitchen counter, and I smashed it on the floor. She became extremely scared at that point, and I hate to say it, but that fed me in that moment. I was glad to see her like that, because she really thought everything was fine and I'd be the usual gentleman that I always was. I told her that I had had enough of her crap, and she had a single chance to tell me the truth. My voice was loud, and she said, "The baby, please," in a pleading voice. I hate that I didn't care if the kid woke up. I told her to tell me the truth, or I was going to destroy her. She told me that it wasn't as bad as it seemed. She claimed that they were just messing around in texts and that her phone really had died that day. I turned and started to leave, and I don't know if she assumed I was going to get my gun or something, but she panicked. She ran after me, screaming that she'd tell the truth, and she just wanted me to calm down. It was funny because that wasn't even close to my intention. I was just done talking to her at that point. She said that she had slept with him, but it wasn't like there were any feelings there. She said that she knew it was wrong, but the truth was that she had just done it for excitement. She hadn't been satisfied with what she had because she was greedy, and that was the only reason she turned to Connor. She told me that she'd never talk to him ever again if I wanted. I laughed because that was such a silly way to compensate me for cheating. He was her coworker. There was no way she was going to be able to not talk to him any longer. I just walked away from her. She told me that she was willing to quit her job if we could stay together. That tempted me because she has a very good job and it is exactly in her career that she wants to be in. But it was never going to be enough to make me trust her. She'll just cheat with a coworker in the new place. The best part about this entire situation is that I audio recorded it. So if I want to show her friends and family the kind of person she is, I have that power. It makes me really happy. For now, I'm just going to focus on getting the divorce through the finish line. I told her she could keep her job, but she needed to know that there was no future for us. She started to cry only then. I guess she realized how much her thirst for excitement was going to cost her. I made sure that she was served with papers the very next workday. She tried to beg again when she got home that day, but she got the hint quickly. I really didn't care what she had to say. She had dug her own grave, and there genuinely wasn't going to be any way for her to climb out of it. I'm sorry that my son has to grow up in a broken home, but one day I'll make sure that he knows that it was never my fault. Update 3. I've finally gotten to the point where I can say that I am newly divorced. It hurts, but it feels good at the same time. When you're in love, you really do wish that you'll go the distance with your person, but sadly for me, that wasn't going to happen. It's fine though, because I'm good at adapting and figuring out life, so I'm going to do the same in this case. The divorce wasn't a very complicated process for the two of us. Sure, we couldn't decide on how we wanted to split things, but we weren't trying to absolutely destroy the other person, and that meant a little bit to me. Obviously, it doesn't mean that I was going to try and come out on top. It also doesn't mean that I had forgiven her. In the end, we split custody down the middle. She got the house and her car, and I got a bigger cut of the money and my car. At least, that's the easiest way to explain it. I didn't dwell too much on what I left with, despite being the only faithful partner between the two of us. I was going to leave her and not find some way to get revenge on her for splitting our family, but when one of our mutual friends came to scold me for how I handled things, I learned that she had gone around telling people that I was the one who cheated, and she was telling them not to talk to me about it. That's when I decided I was going to ruin things for her. I messaged her work with evidence that she and Connor were busy sleeping together. This includes the recording I made. I made it clear that on work trips paid by the company, where it was expected that the two of them would be productive, they were sleeping together and not putting the company first. It took a few weeks, but she's gone, and that makes me happy. Both her and Connor were initially suspended and then fired, especially when the full extent of the nonsense they had been putting on the company card came to light. She had a good job, but she wasn't indispensable for the company. She called me to ask if I had something to do with it. She was angry. I told her that I had everything to do with it, and she only got punished because, even after cheating on me, she was still lying to people that I had been the one who cheated. She was suddenly silent. She asked me who told me that, but I didn't answer. I told her that she had forced my hand, and besides punishing her at work, I was going to set the record straight with everyone. I hung up after that. She tried to call me again, but I was busy drafting the message I was going to send. It went to everyone I know who knows her. I explained that she was changing the narrative, and she forced me to set things straight. Of course, my phone was a mess after that, but I just turned it off for a bit and went to play some video games. I turned it on to several angry messages from her, but I ignored them because she didn't have the right to be angry. I was going to let her get away easy, but she decided to lie to people to make herself the saint. She deserved the pain she got in return. I know she's not going to get over the side effects of her actions anytime soon, but that's none of my business. I didn't do anything during this whole process that wasn't provoked out of me. I stayed as a person with a moral code. She didn't. She deserves to have everyone look at her weird because she ruined what was meant to be a good marriage. All I can do now is focus on being a good parent. I'm going to do that, and hopefully, it'll work out perfect. As long as my boy is fine, I'm fine too. She gambled her marriage for excitement, then still had the nerve to act normal at home like she'd just popped out for groceries. That level of compartmentalizing is honestly chilling. You were up losing sleep thinking something terrible had happened to her. Meanwhile, she was busy making terrible decisions and then coming back to play happy family. So yeah, it's not shocking you snapped. Most people would lose their mind finding out their partner had been living a double life while they were worrying themselves sick. You didn't end the marriage over insecurity. You ended it because the foundation was rotten, and she proved she was willing to lie straight to your face and straight through your concern. How many coincidences would it take for you to stop giving the benefit of the doubt? Let us know your thoughts below. And thank you for joining us today on Our Space. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.